Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the F-Train Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show. I'm Chad Klein. Tonight, Bradley faces UC San Diego in a semifinal matchup of the Terry's Chocolate ESPN Events Invitational at State Farm Fieldhouse in Kissimmee, Florida, with a 4 o'clock tip-off. With Thanksgiving approaching and entering the busiest travel season of the year, Dave Snell and I will be sharing some of our most memorable travel stories, followed by Coach Wardle talking about his journey from being a successful college and professional player and developing that into a successful basketball coaching career. All this and more when we come back on the F-Train Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show on 1470 and 100.3 WMBD. This is the F-Train Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show. I'm your host, Chad Klein. I continue my conversations with Dave Snell, and obviously being Thanksgiving and a lot of people are traveling over the holidays, I wanted to devote some time to travel stories. Fort Myers. We go there. I think we had a pretty successful tournament. Can't remember, but I remember more about the travel than anything because it was over the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yes. Thanksgiving Day.
Thanksgiving Day. Everything's normal. We get to the airport. We think we're early. Come to find out, some mess up, screw up, whatever. We were supposed to be on a different flight. We couldn't get out.
With the team.
With the team. They'd left like an hour or two before. Like they just left when we'd gotten there. So we're scrambling because it's Thanksgiving, remember. There's no flights to Chicago. There's no flights to St. Louis. We're panicking.
The worst day to travel, that and the day after.
So I'm calling my wife to break the news. And she says, well, did you try Indianapolis? I'm like, Oh. My family was visiting my family, my parents and brother and sister, in Indianapolis for Thanksgiving. And they're like, well, see if you can get into Indianapolis and we'll pick you up. I'm like, oh. So long story short, we spend the whole day in the airport. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But we did make it into Indianapolis. We were the last flight in, as I recall.
Yes.
And
it was on Spirit Airline.
Yes.
And it probably was the last. It was the last choice.
It was our only option.
Our only option.
And then you ride home in the van with my family. With my kids were young at that point.
Yeah.
We're just telling stories the whole day, and they were just laughing and cracking up and having a good old time.
The only great thing about that was that we were at the airport, and we got to watch a doubleheader of Thanksgiving football games.
We did.
In the NFL, and I don't know if they play any college games or not, but that made the day go a little bit faster. And I think we might have had breakfast, lunch, and dinner that day at the airport. And you know what the prices are for food.
Oh, it's not good.
Yeah. So we probably set a record.
We may have.
We set a record for all-time one-day meals, and that was before the days of Learfield.
Well, and honestly, we have had with the government closure, airports are still trying to return. So I wish you well on your trip.
They have gone back to work, so we should have no problems. But if not, I will be calling to see if I can get a flight to Indianapolis.
And then we had the COVID game at Mizzou.
Oh boy!
This is when we had to start traveling separately from the team, out of fear that we'd get the team infected or vice versa. We're at the game. We had our masks off. Coach Wardle comes up and chats with us. And a long story short, we almost win the game. Probably should have won the game. Maybe had a little
We missed a bonus free throw with a chance to ice the game.
And I think they committed a turnover, but it wasn't called as well. But we won't go there. But long story short, I'm driving home, which I do most of the driving.
Yes, you do.
And I think I looked over at him like, Dave, you're going to have to drive. I can't stay awake. And I just started feeling awful. And then the next couple of days was sick. Everybody got sick. The whole team got sick. We got sick. Dave got sick. Everybody got sick at that game.
You said, I've got COVID. You better get checked. So I did. And I did.
And the streak was on the line. Because you had to have 10 days
at that time, and you had to be free of a fever. And fortunately, Bradley did not play from that point on, and I was going to go anyway. So I was going to say, I'm fine.
But the good news out of that was the team was sick, so they didn't want – I think they had to postpone a couple games because the team was sick, and that's what helped us get through it all.
And that was with they had no fans. We were playing double headers on the road.
We were nowhere near the floor. So, I mean, it would have been possible to still work it, but still, you know what I'm talking about there.
Jason Viniski's there, and he missed, I don't think he got it.
He was one of the few. You're listening to the F3 Auto Group Braves Plus show on 1470 and 100.3 WMBD. This is the F3 Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show. I'm your host, Chad Klein. I continue my conversation with Dave Snell, the voice of the Braves. Paradise Jam in Virgin Islands. I think it's lovingly called the Roach Hotel.
Oh, yes.
This is right. This is as COVID was starting to turn the other direction. Also, the Virgin Islands, I believe, had a hurricane hit it the year before, so they were still rebuilding, so there weren't a lot of hotels available.
No. And I remember the one that we went to. First of all, there was a rooster there that woke everybody up early in the morning. Secondly, the room that I had, they threw water on the floor to clean it every day. So you were going in there and sloshing your way after they had cleaned the room. The room I had no hot water for showers. They had, I remember just the shower curtain. In fact, I took pictures.
Okay.
I had a picture of a cockroach crawling up it and blood on the curtain.
To be clear, not yours.
No, it was somebody else's. And I figured that they were filming there the rerun or the updated version of Psycho.
Oh, there we go.
So, and the place, and you had to be tested every day.
Yeah, because I chose not to get the COVID shot, and as a result, in order to get into the game, you had to show up. I think they started testing a couple hours in advance, which I was always like the first one because being on the radio crew had to get in, and so they would test me every day. But by that point, I wasn't concerned because we'd already been sick with Mizzou.
Yeah.
It was the same season.
So we were clean.
But it was just one of those things you still just had to do. But I will say this, and I'll be talking to Eddie Pappas and Tyler Krogh at some point down the road.
Oh, that'll be one I got to listen to.
We had a day off. And so the three of us and our wives decided to go. We just went. Weren't sure if there was practice or not. But thankfully there was not. So we ferried across to St. John's Island and went to, I think it was called Trunk Beach or something along that line. Mm-hmm. The most beautiful beach I've ever been to in my life. Clear, pristine waters. There was some snorkeling that my wife did off to the side. It was just so beautiful. And it was like with this jungle background. Most beautiful place I've ever been to. So sometimes there is a diamond in the rough.
Yes. Well, my diamond was in my room.
Well, I can't. Sorry.
I think it was Cancun. With the monkeys in the back.
I think it was later on, but I think it might have been this last. Well, it wasn't the kneecap trip, but
not the rock group.
Correct. So again, more travel stories. The Cancun Challenge 22-23. We went back. I think this was your broken kneecap trip.
It was.
You had an unfortunate incident just before the season started.
Yeah, it was It was at Dillard's at St. Clair Square, and I was going to the Cardinal game that night against Philadelphia, and before we checked into the hotel, we were going to go to Dillard's and get a gift for my wife's nieces. And that game, Cleveland was playing Tampa Bay, and it went extra innings, and it was scoreless, and I was kind of paying attention to that. and not the little curb that was there, and went head over heels and fell on my knee and drove a hole through my left knee that you could put your finger all the way through. I was taken by ambulance to a nearby hospital, and they said, "You have broken your patella," my kneecap. And they said, but our orthopedic guy's not here, so we're going to have to bandage you up and put in a car, and you'll have to go home. I said, "You mean I can't go to the game now?" And he said, "No." So I wound up, that took me out of action, being able to walk places.
You were on crutches for a good couple of months.
Right.
We had to get you, we're at the Cancun Challenge. You're trying to navigate because there's stairs and ramps and at this resort. And I mean, literally, we got there, and my wife went with us. She's like, we got to get him a scooter. He's going to kill himself.
Well, yeah, because it was raining, and I was supposed to meet you guys for dinner, and you had changed, and I went to the place that you were going to, and I had crutches, and they were scooting all over the place. So I was worried I was going to do my other knee as well.
So we got you a scooter, and you're trying to figure out where you can go, where you can't go. Because there's stairs and ramps, and it was a mess.
It's like an old game of chutes and ladders, and the thing is, I had to put it in my room at the end of the day or night. And the first time I went back there, I tried to back in, and I ran right into the hot tub that was there, and I think it still has a dent in it. And so then I came back out and whipped around, and I got pretty good towards the end. But it was definitely a real interesting
And that
time.
was the year that we played Auburn.
Yes.
Played that group, and that's where we talked about a little once before about the food poisoning. A couple guys were sick. Rink Masthead was coming back from a sprained knee still. So it was a tournament that was mostly forgettable.
Yeah.
You're listening to the F3 Auto Group Braves Plus show on 1470 and 100.3 WMBD. This is the F3 Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show. I'm your host, Chad Klein. I changed topics and start talking to Coach Wardle about how he went from a successful player, which helped him grow into a successful coach. You had a successful playing career at Marquette. You went on to play professionally for 2 years. So I have to ask you a question. Have you ever seen the movie Moneyball?
Yeah.
Great movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of, but there is a reference in there about, and I take this to heart because I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious what your thoughts are as a former player as well. At some point, we all come to a place where our playing career ends. Sometimes we choose it. Sometimes it's chosen for us.
Mm-hmm.
What was the turning point where you went from player to coach? Do you remember that? Or what kind of, where you were, what place you were in at that point in time?
Yeah, I was, my first year at pro ball out of college, I was chasing a dream. I played the summer league with the NBA, with the Chicago Bulls. Dream come true.
Awesome.
Summer league. Chasing the dream to play at the highest level, which was in the NBA. I knew it was a long shot, but hey, might as well go for it, especially in your first couple of years. You should go for it, like Malavai's done. And Malavai's doing a great job. I went to the G League. I played for Fayetteville Patriots. Nate Tiny Archibald was the coach, legendary player.
Yeah.
And all our basketball historians listening will know that name. And I kind of became his assistant. I came off the bench. I played the two. I played the backup point guard because I could remember the plays.
Yeah.
And I would almost run the first 30 minutes of practice because Nate would be late most days. So he would text me, I swear. He would text me or call me and say, "Hey, B. Wardle, can you run us through our blobs and make sure we run our slobs?" I forgot, and he was a great guy. But it was a former Hall of Famer trying to coach for the first time.
Yeah.
So I knew then, and even I knew college, I was going to coach one day, and Tom Crean would tell me, Mike Dean, my coaches at Marquette would say, "You'd be a good coach. Comes easy to you. You're a leader. You're vocal. You help guys get to spots." And so I knew I would do it one day. But then during that G League year, I'm sitting there like, okay, I played. I didn't have a great year. My rookie year, I did not produce well. So I went to the CBA. That's when the CBA was still.
Yeah.
And honestly, the G League was just starting. So the CBA probably had better pros than the G League at that time, which was the D League. I'm sorry, it was the D League when I was in it. But so I went to the CBA, played at Rockford, had actually a good year there. Put up some numbers. We won. We were number 1 seed out of going in the playoffs. And I had the same experience. I was starting, but I was also became like an assistant coach.
Okay.
And it was just helping guys. And because you always have new guys. And I try to explain this to my players, guys get fired quick in the pros. Like, we're not pro basketball yet, because if we're pro basketball, then I can make tough decisions every week, every 2 weeks. And that's what it is like at pro ball. People don't know that. Like, that locker room was like a circle of players coming in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. It was never the same roster. I take pride in I never got cut on either team. So I brought value to the team, and I think a lot had to do with my leadership and the ability to help coach and lead all the new guys that would come into the locker room, teach them the plays right away.
So it was more of a natural transition for you.
It was. And then I chose, though, to go with your quote, which was a great movie, I chose to retire. Now, I battled an ankle injury one of the years, but nothing that would put me out. But Leisha, my wife now, she had a great job in Milwaukee at the time and making good money. I mean, she always made, we don't care about money in our household, but she always did well financially. And I was living off her usually as a broke, poor pro basketball player. And I had an opportunity to go to Germany and play in Europe and then it was going to be another journey to start my career in Europe. Or I had an opportunity to be like video coordinator for Tom Crean at Marquette, where I played college, and a coach that coached me for 2 years. And it was that decision where Leisha was not coming with me to Europe.
That's hard.
It's a hard decision. So, all right, I knew if I went to Europe, I think it would keep going and last, but you got to make that tough decision at times, and it was the right decision, obviously, for me. I trusted my gut. I always have in my career, in my life. I've trusted my gut, and I jumped in quickly as a video coordinator and just worked my way up.
Interesting. You started your coaching career at Marquette. You moved on to Green Bay, where you got your shot at head coach. As a coach, is it fair to say you're always learning?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, this is an evolving job and growing. You're always growing. You're evolving. And once you think you know it all, you get humbled so fast in this game. And I tell everyone that this is a humbling game. If as soon as you feel good about your performance, you feel good about where you're at, and you think you've arrived or you've figured this thing out, basketball will just put you right back to the beginning. And that's the part of it I do love, though. Like, it's a challenge, and there's always new things. There's, like, my new staff, there's new ideas, there's new concepts, new terminology. There's always new ideas that can make you better, and that's exciting to me. I like that. I like adapting. I like change, and I think that's helped me grow as a coach, and I'm growing this year. Even though we started slow a little bit, I feel like I'm getting better, and I can help my team get better if I'm improving too.
One of the things that Coach Mo always taught us is if you're on a plateau and you're comfortable, you're actually falling behind.
Yeah. Because
there's always another program, another player that's growing as you're sitting on that plateau.
Yeah. No, and I knew that as a player. I was the most uncomfortable player in my career. Like, no one outworked me. No one. Like, I tell my players that I was in the best shape of anybody on my team, and I was a worker. Now, I had fun, and I always say, play hard, work hard. I had fun because that was the 90s and we experienced college, but I was in that gym in the morning. I was putting the work in. I was putting the reps in. I was watching tape when we had cassette tape. So it's the same as a coach. Once you get comfortable, you get passed by. Comfort is the root of all evils when you're in a competitive sport. And when you really want to develop and grow, you can't be comfortable.
You're listening to the F-Train Auto Group Braves Plus show on 1470 and 100.3 WMBD. It's the F-Train Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show, and it's time for By the Numbers. Yesterday, Bradley faced Princeton in its first-round matchup of the Terry's Chocolate ESPN Events Invitational. Bradley would jump out to an early lead and maintain it in the early half of the game. But Jaquan Johnson A.J. Smith, and Demarion Birch would all pick up their second foul fairly early in the half, forcing Coach Wardle to go to his bench, which created opportunities for guys to step up, and step up they did. Princeton would tie the game 19-19 with 9:17 to play in the first half. Princeton's Jack Stanton got hot from the field, scoring all 16 of his points in the first half, allowing Princeton to extend out to their biggest lead of the game, 26-20, with 7:56 to play in the first half. But the difference in the last two games has been that Bradley's defense has been better at stringing stops together, which has allowed the offense to go on runs. Bradley would finish the first half on a 20-8 run, giving them a 40-34 lead at halftime. Bradley was led in scoring in the first half by Alex Schubricks and Timo Vandernap, each tallying 9 points apiece. In the second half, Bradley would turn up the defensive pressure. Remember, Princeton was down its primary ball handler in Dalen Davis, and Bradley made them pay in the second half. Jaquan Johnson had 6 of his steals and scored 12 of his 13 points in the second half. Bradley would turn over Princeton 24 times. It was the underclassmen who stole the show on this day. Timo Vandernap would score 15. Montana Wheeler scored 16. Matthew Zobrist got some minutes, scored 4. And Dietrich Richardson had 3. All career highs for Bradley, who would cruise to a solid win 88-64. Next, Bradley must face a very good UC San Diego squad, who comes in today on a 5-0 on the season, including an impressive win at Fresno State and a dominant performance yesterday over Temple, winning 91-76. Now, what stands out about UC San Diego on paper? First of all, they're older. They start 4 juniors and a grad student in their starting 5. They're led by redshirt junior forward Leo Beath, who averages over 19 points a game and is a 3-level scorer with 3-point range. Tom Beatty is a junior guard who averages 14, and Alex Chalkin is a sophomore guard that comes off the bench and provides sharp shooting, averaging about 11 points per game. Now, UC San Diego isn't huge in size, but they do have 8 players that are 6'5" or above that play. So they are long, and that could cause problems. UC San Diego runs an efficient offense with 5 of their top 7 scorers averaging over 50% from the field, and 5 different guys who have shot more than 10 threes and average over 40% from 3. Bradley's defense will need to be on point today. UC San Diego team rebounds. They have 5 guys averaging over 4 rebounds per game, and they're out-rebounding their opponents by 4.5 per game. They average 9 offensive rebounds, and this is a concern because of Bradley's struggles on the boards. Now, as efficient as UC San Diego is on offense, they are not great from the charity stripe. Of the 8 guys playing over 10 minutes, they have only 1, Alex Chalkin, that shoots over 70% from the free throw line. So Bradley needs to be ready to rebound on free throws. All in all, it's going to take another good team performance for Bradley to get the win today. It's the F3 Auto Group Braves Plus pregame show. Up next, Dave talks to the coaches about tonight's 4:05 semifinal matchup against UC San Diego on 1470 and 100.3 WMBD.